They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce,
No, not you, man.
but they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
In a way, it sort of seems like, they're trying to minimalize it to just gang shit.
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
Ye isn't new to shaking the table, but this time he didn't just shake it. He flipped the entire industry upside down. Out of nowhere, he dropped a claim so explosive it rattled the core of hip-hop history. According to him, Tupac's death wasn't just another tragic chapter in the East Coast-West Coast war. Nope. Ye says it went way deeper. Something ritualistic, something calculated. And here's the part that stops you cold. He claims Diddy and Jay-Z weren't just bystanders, they were part of the plot. In Ye's version, Pac's murder wasn't about beef, records, or territory. It was a sacrifice, a blood price that opened the doors of ultimate Hollywood power for Jay-Z. Just sit with that for a second. The idea that one of the most legendary rappers of all time was taken out so another could rise. That's the kind of theory that makes you scroll back up, replay the video, and ask yourself, wait, did I just hear that right? So the real question is Ye pulling back the curtain on a dark initiation ritual that the world was never supposed to see? Or is this just another wild moment where genius and madness collide in the same sentence? Either way, it's impossible to ignore, and the industry will never look at these names the same again.
If we get to the bottom of Tupac's, when that is finally revealed, 15 other will be revealed with it. And you will find that they were all committed by the same two people, father and son. Publicly, Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
When Ye speaks, the whole world leans in, even when nobody's sure if listening is the right move. He's unpredictable. One moment he's tearing down corporations, the next he's dropping bombshells about hidden powers running the industry. And he stands by his words with this twisted kind of credibility. I never ended nobody, so I can say whatever I want and not go to jail. That's the armor he wears, casting himself as both prophet and outcast. But here's the real question. Is this the moment when the so-called black sheep of music is actually saying what everyone else is too scared to admit? Or is he just unraveling again, blurring the line between conspiracy and confession? Now, what makes this even crazier is the timing. After years of headline-making feuds, Ye suddenly shows up in Jay-Z's digital space like nothing ever happened. We're talking likes, comments, playful interactions, the kind of moves that make you wonder if history just got erased. But we know the history can't be erased. Jay and Beyoncé famously skipped Ye's wedding to Kim Kardashian. Jay picked Kendrick Lamar over him for the Super Bowl halftime show. And let's not forget Ye's wildest rants where he even dragged Jay and Bey's children into the fire. That wasn't petty drama, that was scorched earth. So why the sudden shift? Why cozy back up now? Is Ye trying to bury the hatchet, or is this a carefully crafted setup? Some believe it's a calculated move, a way to draw Jay closer before dropping him into the deadliest conversation of all, the mystery surrounding Tupac's death. Because with Ye, nothing is ever just casual. When he smiles, there's always a storm building right behind it.
I felt like, they had a whole lot of potential. Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in, because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do.
If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland?
This so-called reunion doesn't feel like reconciliation. It feels like theater, like two kings moving their pieces on a chessboard, every glance, every comment loaded with hidden strategy. And here's where it gets darker. Ye has always been obsessed with the idea that Hollywood runs on rituals, not just red carpets and champagne, but blood oaths and sacrifices. In his eyes, Jay-Z and Diddy didn't climb to the top on talent or business moves alone. No, he paints it as a climb greased by shadowy transactions, where human lives became the currency of power. Now, if anyone else said this, you'd laugh it off as some bad late-night thriller script. But when the words come from Ye, layered with decades of betrayal, mistrust, and receipts, it hits different. Especially because whispers around Diddy's alleged ties to Tupac's murder have never really gone away. Retired detectives have gone on record claiming Diddy once floated $1 million bounty on Shakur. And insiders like Dwayne "Keffy D. Davis have openly hinted that Diddy was the one pulling strings in Vegas that night. One former investigator even swore he cornered Keffy D into admitting the entire setup, pointing his finger directly at Diddy as the man who called for the hit. And now with Ye dragging these ghosts back into the spotlight, the question becomes unavoidable. Is this all noise, or is he piecing together a puzzle everyone else is too afraid to solve?
It's so complicated, convoluted, chaotic. It's hard to actually figure out what's what, but it's becoming clearer.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake. I mean, I'm just speculating.
We would take your turntables you played, hit 'em up. That thing hurt to this day.
And he sits down and he gets really quiet. It felt like he stayed quiet for an hour. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, I shouldn't have asked him. Then he looks at me and says, yo, I ain't gonna charge you for nothing. He says, you black, I don't charge my people for nothing. It was just the way he was. He just wanted to support the business. He knew what we're faced against. He knew how competitive the fashion industry was.
He was very intentional to make sure that I was seen. And I think bigger than everything, it's the fact that I see you and I want the world to see you. He said it was important because I was a black designer.
And the story keeps spiraling. Federal raids on Diddy's mansions have thrown his name back into the fire, while lawsuits paint him as hip-hop's version of Epstein. A man surrounded by handlers who allegedly looked the other way, while the unthinkable happened behind closed doors. Every headline drags his past back into the spotlight, and with it, the whispers about Tupac's murder roar back to life. Because if Diddy truly had the power to orchestrate a hit back then, suddenly Ye's claim doesn't sound so far-fetched. His suggestion that Jay-Z may have not only benefited from it, but needed it as part of his rise to power takes on a chilling edge. It forces us to ask, were these two moguls really building their empires side by side through talent and champagne toasts? Or was there a darker pact at work? A pact sealed in something far more sinister than the glamorous brunches they flaunted to the world.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no where. That's where you go nowhere. Which is where people like me, you gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
What makes West's words so explosive is that he doesn't filter, ever. 1 second he's raging about celebrities being nothing more than puppets, the next he's claiming his own mother was sacrificed to keep him under control. Then, without hesitation, he starts dropping names, LeBron James, Beyonce, Jay-Z, arguing they're all locked into the same shadowy system. To the casual ear, it sounds unhinged. But he delivers it with the conviction of someone who believes he broke free, someone convinced he lived inside the very machine he's now exposing. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because the moment he weaves Tupac Shakur into this narrative, when he calls Pac the ultimate symbol, the ultimate offering, you can't just roll your eyes and dismiss it. Tupac's death has always carried an aura of mystery, a story wrapped in rumors and contradictions. But framing it not as a tragedy of rivalry, but as the blood sacrifice that crowned another king, that flips the entire narrative on its head. It raises the stakes to a level nobody in the business has dared to even whisper about.
Boy, Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib. Like the influx of people, he had put them out.